Hello and good morning to all of you. I hope all of you are doing well and all of you are in good health. In today's class, we will start with the fourth unit of cybersecurity coursework, and the unit is titled as Data Protection and its Significances. During the course of the unit, we will be discussing the following aspects. What is data and what is metadata? What is non-personal data, wherein we will discuss types of non-personal data, importance of non-personal data, sensitivity of non-personal data, and the issues that are related to non-personal data. Then we will move on to data privacy, data security, and data protection, wherein we will discuss tips for data privacy best practices, tips for data security best practices, tips for data protection best practices. Then we will move on to big data, wherein we will discuss data protection principles, characteristics of big data, top industries using big data for their applications, and challenges that are involved in big data security. Then we will move on to General Data Protection Regulations, that is GDPR, wherein we will discuss personal data under GDPR and GDPR and the Indian context. Then we'll move on to Personal Information Protection and Electronic Documents Act, that is PIPEDA. Then we'll move on to social media data privacy and security issues, wherein we will discuss dangers of social media, ways to stay safe in social media, threats that impact social media security and privacy. Then we'll move on to cybersecurity management, compliance, and governance, wherein we will discuss what is cybersecurity plan, reasons why cybersecurity plans are important, elements of an effective cybersecurity plan. Then we will move on to how to create an effective cybersecurity plan, what to include in cybersecurity plan template for small businesses. Then we'll move on to Cyber Crisis Management Plan, that is CCMP. Then we will discuss cybersecurity risk assessment, wherein we'll focus on types of cybersecurity risk assessment, how to do a security risk assessment. Then we'll move on to types of security controls and their goals in cybersecurity, wherein we will discuss functions of security controls. Then we will move on to cybersecurity audit and compliance, wherein we will discuss top indicators that an organization is failing behind in your risk assessment, cybersecurity compliance audit. Then we will move on to National Cybersecurity Policy 2013 and discuss its salient features, and eventually we will discuss National Cybersecurity Strategy. Now let us start with what is data and what is metadata. To begin with, let us try and understand what a data is with the help of its definition and then example. Data is defined as raw and unorganized facts. Data is deemed useless without proper processing and organization that is required in order to retrieve some valuable insight or information for future use. Data is a set of facts and figures that can be operated on, referred to, or analyzed in order to draw certain valuable inferences. Here, it is also to be understood that data and information is not same. Now let us try and understand what an information is. An information is a validated version of data. Again, I'm repeating it. Information is a validated version of data. Now, we do not have a universal generalizable data validation function. This implies that there is data-specific data validation function that qualifies a data to become an information. So that is the basic distinction between data and information. So an information is a validated version of data. Now let us try and understand data with the help of an example. Now, if someone do ask me my name, so I say that my name is Mohan Pradhan. I'm from Department of Computer Applications, Sikkim University. My age is 39 and I'm currently associated with the department in the capacity of Associate Professor. Now, this would be the best example of data. Now, let us try and understand what a metadata is. Metadata is a data about data. It provides the information regarding organization of raw data. It contains information about a data asset such as properties, origin, history, location, creation, ownership, and versions. It helps to increase the accuracy of operations like searching and retrieving facts about the data from large amount of data. It may be manually created or automatically created. Now let us try and understand what is metadata with the help of an example. Now, here the best example would be name, department, age, and designation is a metadata because name, department, age, and designation is capable of explaining the characteristics of data. So this is the basic distinction between data and metadata. Here, it is to be understood that the attributes of metadata can be manually as well as automatically created. For an example, name, department, age, and designation can be manually associated with the data, whereas file type, data type, size, and origin can be automatically associated with the data. Now let us understand why do we need metadata. We may require metadata for various reasons. Some of these are organization and description. Metadata describes and orders data resources in a repository. Experts may produce new metadata through registrations, cataloging, and indexing procedures. Search and retrieval. Appropriate descriptive metadata simplifies users in locating and getting necessary metadata and data resource information. Utilization and preservation. Metadata helps track the life cycle of a data resource. It monitors its modification, permissions management, and version management. Information creation, multi-versioning, and reuse. Various iterations of a resource may be developed for preservation, study, or product development. It facilitates interoperability. Use of established metadata schemes and standardized transfer mechanisms do simplify sharing of resources. Now let us understand what are the different types of metadata. To start with, let us discuss what is structural metadata. Structural metadata provides valuable information that helps us to establish relationships between various objects. Structural metadata enables user to understand and make use of data resources effectively. For an example, in case of a book, structural metadata includes table of contents, pages, sections, and chapter numbers that will enable us to establish relationship between various aspects of a book. Now let us move on to descriptive metadata. Descriptive metadata provides helpful information for discovering and identifying a data resource. It describes a data resources, what, when, where, and who. Now let us move on to preservation metadata. Preservation metadata refers to information related to the preservation, management of collections and information resources. Administrative metadata. Administrative metadata provides information that is useful in managing resources such as governance, access control, security issues, copyright, rights management, and license agreements. Provenance metadata. Provenance metadata provides helpful information on the origin of data sources and help track the life cycle of a resource. Definitional metadata. Definitional metadata refers to the metadata that provides a common vocabulary that facilitates a shared understanding of the meaning of the data. Now let us understand non-personal data. Non-personal data is any set of data which does not contain personally identifiable information. This means that no individual or living person can be identified by looking at non-personal data. Now let us understand non-personal data with the help of an example. Order details collected by a food delivery service will have the name, age, gender, and other contact information about the individual who have placed the order. The data becomes non-personal if the identifiers such as name and contact information are taken out of it. Now let us discuss different types of non-personal data. There are identifiably three different types of non-personal data. To start with, we have public non-personal data. Public non-personal data involves all the data collected by government and its agencies during execution of all publicly funded work. For an example, census that involves collection of data by the municipality corporations on the tax that have been paid by the public. This can be treated as an example of public non-personal data. Now, the next type of non-personal data is called as community non-personal data. Community non-personal data involves any data identifier about a set of people who have either the same geographical location, religion, job, or other common social interests. For an example, the metadata collected by ride-hailing apps, telecom companies, and electricity distribution companies can be treated as an example of community non-personal data. The third type of non-personal data is called as private non-personal data. Private non-personal data can be defined as those which are produced by individuals which can be derived from applications of proprietary software or knowledges. For an example, data generated by applications like Google, Amazon, or any of the standard mail servers can be treated as an example of private non-personal data. Now let us understand the importance of non-personal data. Non-personal data plays a very critical role in determining customer biases. Customer biases are very much important for ensuring targeted delivery of customer services. Therefore, it is understood that non-personal data and its close analysis will help us to unlock the doors of economic value and innovation in the country, leading to economic prosperity. Now let us discuss something about sensitivity of non-personal data. Unlike personal data, non-personal data is more likely to be an anonymized form. However, in certain categories such as data related to national security or of strategic interest such as location of important governmental agencies, even the data provided in anonymized form can be dangerous. Possibilities of such harm are obviously much higher if the original data is of sensitive nature. Therefore, the non-personal data arising from sensitive personal data may be considered as sensitive non-personal data. Now let us discuss an important issue associated with non-personal data. It is supposedly considered that non-personal data heavily favors big tech companies. This is only because of the reason that big tech companies do possess the capital and the necessary infrastructure to create and house such large volume of data, which other companies may find it relatively difficult. Now let us move on to data privacy, data security, and data protection. Now let us start with data privacy. Data privacy refers to proper use and processing of personal data by restoring control over the data to the individuals. It enables individuals to decide and limit access to the use and sharing of the personal data. Now let us move on to data security. Data security refers to the concept of protecting digital data from theft, corruption, or unauthorized access throughout its entire life cycle of creation, storage, use, sharing, archiving, and destruction. Now let us understand how data security affects data privacy by considering an example. Most online businesses and websites collect personal data, from email addresses to phone numbers, credit card numbers, and login details. Ideally, these entities should not keep more information than what is necessary, nor should they keep it longer than necessary. We cannot operationalize data privacy without ensuring the security of data. Therefore, data security is a prerequisite to data privacy. Now let us move on to data protection. Data protection refers to maintaining data availability by way of backups so that you can easily restore data in situation of crisis. In broader way, data protection covers data availability, immutability, preservation, deletion and destruction, data privacy, as well as data security. Now, these are some of the important tools that are used for ensuring data protection. Now, let us differentiate between data privacy, data security, and data protection. Data privacy ensures proper use of personal data by giving individuals control over how their data is accessed, used, or shared. Data security provides protection against unauthorized access, use, or destruction by implementing appropriate technical control, mechanisms, and procedures. Data protection covers data availability, immutability, preservation, deletion, destruction, data privacy, as well as data security. Now let us discuss some of the important tips for data privacy best practices. Understand how your relevant regulations define personal information. Utilize personal consent management when collecting data. Store only essential information. Don't store data longer than necessary. And understand individuals' right over their data under applicable laws and regulations. Now let us discuss some of the important tips for data security best practices. Limit internal access to the data. Perform data encryption as and when required. Don't use public Wi-Fi connections on your business devices. And take extra precautions to guard against human error. Now let us move on and discuss some of the important tips for data protection best practices. Backup essential data regularly. Consider sending backup data to the cloud. And consider backing up data in a different physical location from your company's office. Now this brings us to the end of the first session of the fourth unit. Thank you very much for your patience listening.